What's going on, everybody? David here. Today we're going to talk about two different things. We're going to talk about the back to work bonus. So I talked about this before and I want to bring it back because now it's pretty much dead on arrival. So I want to kind of go over the reasons why I think it's dead on arrival. We're also going to talk about some good news coming from the White House when it comes to stimulus checks. But first off, on this channel, we talk about personal finance for travelers. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell notification so you can get future updates on my videos. So the first thing I want to talk about is the back to work bonus. So I talked about this about a week and a half ago, and this is Representative Kevin Brady's proposal. And basically, he's going to give you 2 weeks. So if you go back to work, he's going to give you 2 weeks of unemployment. So that's $600 bonus. He's going to give you that. So you'll get up to $1,200. So that's like a $1,200 check there that you would receive just to go back to work. So even though you've gone back to work, you still get that 2 weeks. So this was gaining traction among senators and some Congress people as far as how to move forward and get people back to work. But the major issue, there are a few issues with this. And first off, and whenever you're talking about giving people bonuses to go back to work, you always have to think about the people who are working right now. And how is that going to look for them? Like, they've been working this whole time. A lot of them have been working through the whole COVID-19 situation. And now you're going to have new employees come in and they're going to get this $1,200 bonus. Of course, that's going to upset a lot of people that are currently working. And so that's why I think they're talking about payroll tax cuts and all this other things, putting those other things out there. But this is one of those things they were talking about. Yeah, we can get people to go back to work by giving them $1,200. But then you have to also look at the situation where, are people really going to, I mean, some people might think, okay, I could maybe try to get a better job and not go back to the same job or go back at a lower pay, because some of these jobs will be hiring you back, but they're going to hire you back at a lower pay just because things have changed. So that's always been out there. Now, the reason why I think this is dead on arrival now at this point is because the Senate has already said that late July is when they plan on going forward with any formal negotiations when it comes to another stimulus package. And so because of that, and because of the fact that Brady's his proposal would expire on July 31st, that doesn't give you any time. So when the Senate comes back, they'll come back on the 21st. Actually, they're here right now. Let me get that straight. So they're here right now, but on July 3rd, they're going on recess. They'll be out until July 20th or the 21st. It's unclear. 20th is really when they're supposed to come back, but they're probably not going to do much on the 20th. So the 21st is when both the House of Representatives and the Senate will be back in session. And so that's when they think they're going to start their formal negotiations. But so you have from the 21st through the 31st, that's 10 days. So even if a bill went through, it's still not going to affect this proposal that's out there unless they make changes to the proposal. And that's something that they would have to do. But the thing that gets me when you start putting these things out here, these different proposals, and the same thing with liability protection, the way I feel about that is you're not telling us, is this retroactive? How is this going to transpire? Because that's important information for people to know. So let's say I am unemployed right now and I'm thinking about going back to work. And so I start putting in my applications and I'm open for work and I want to get that bonus, but the bonus isn't on the table yet. We just know it's out there. There's a proposal for it, but I don't know if I come back to work now and they sign something in the future, am I going to still be able to get that $1,200 bonus? Or is that $1,200 bonus going to go to only the people who are just getting into the workplace? So those are things that you need to put in a proposal to make people want to go back to work. Okay. Now, and I think, let me put it out there like this. I think the majority of people want to go back to work, and this is a little extra for them. So they might look at it and say, okay, yeah, you know what? This is an extra little push that I would need. And a lot of people, when you do go back to work, there is going to be that 2-week gap. So it will work for that. So you have to wait 2 weeks before you get your first check. So that fills that gap. So that's good. Although it's $1,200, it still will help out a little bit. So I just think it's crazy that you have these different proposals and they don't think these through and say, okay, we have to make this retroactive, or we have to have a start date of this date. So people understand, okay, if I go back to work now, I can still get that bonus. But right now, there's no one's thinking about getting an extra $1,200 for a sign-up bonus to go back to work. They're not thinking about that right now. So I just think some of these proposals are just really, really poorly designed because they're not looking at the big picture. So that's how I feel about that. I want to know what you guys think, though. Down below, what do you think about the back to work bonus? Do you think it's dead on arrival? I think at this point, they do need to make changes. They're not going to be able to have it the way that it is now, obviously, because July 31st is right around the corner. And when the Senate comes back, there's just not going to be enough time. But let me know down below. Let me know what you think. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, this is good news. So this is good news coming from the White House. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, he basically, he was asked a question about stimulus checks. Do you think we'll get another round of stimulus checks? And he said that we are seriously considering more stimulus checks. So that right there, when you say seriously considering political talk, it's already there. Like we've already decided this is what we want. And because you don't use the words seriously considering, you would use the words, it's on the table, we're talking about it, but you do not say seriously considering, because if you say seriously considering, it's hard to back away from that. Because now if you have a package that goes through and there are no stimulus checks in there, then people are going to ask you, well, why isn't there a stimulus check? Now you have to back away from that and say, oh, we didn't do stimulus checks, but we did this. So that's what happens when you say seriously considering, because people are going to look at it and say, well, you were seriously considering it now. So what changed your mind? So you have to have something that changed your mind. And it has to be something that's equivalent to stimulus checks. And I can't think of anything else that would be equivalent to stimulus checks, direct money to people. There's nothing else out there that you could put in a package and really explain it. Okay, this is the reason why we went with this. So when you hear talk like this coming from the White House, they're saying this is what we want. And this is what the senators have to give to us. We're strongly considering it. We're strongly urging the Senate to go with us when it comes to stimulus checks is basically what they're saying. And so the only problem with this whole thing is they've already said they're going to wait. They're going to wait until late July. And so that's unfortunate for a lot of people, because now that's another month from now when to decide what they're going to do. And like I said, if they've already said they're doing another stimulus package. So the White House came out with that last week. We're doing another stimulus package. Definitely there'll be another stimulus package. So we know that's happening. And now they're saying they're seriously considering stimulus checks, which, like I said, seriously considering is pretty much, it's a done deal in their mind. And so now they're just working out the fine details. And yesterday's video, I talked a little bit about you have one side in the White House, you have one side that's saying we don't want it to go over 1 trillion. And then you have another side that's saying that it can go higher than that. And so when it comes down to it, we're looking at a package that's going to probably be higher than 1 trillion, which is good because that means that they can incorporate some other things. And when it comes to stimulus checks, we're still, I think the majority of people are kind of reserved to the fact that it's probably going to be $1,200, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be $1,200. It could be more. And like I said, the White House could be pushing for more. If they were smart, and if the president's thinking, okay, which obviously the president's thinking about re-election, more than $1,200 would help his cause. Because he could say, you know what, the Democrats wanted $1,200, but guess what? I want to give you guys $2,000. So different things like that, they can kind of work that around. But then the Democrats could come back. So he could say, I want $2,000. Democrats can come back and say, how about $2,500? We might have a bid up. Wouldn't that be nice? Everybody's bidding up. The politicians are bidding it up. So it goes to the House of Representatives. They say, yeah, you know what? We want $2,500. And then it goes back to the White House, and the White House says, okay, what about $3,000? And then it goes back to the House, and the House says, what about $4,000? And I know I'm being crazy when I'm saying all this, but there could be a bid up. And if that happens, the Senate will probably be the ones where they'll say, hey, no, we can't go any higher than this. They'll probably be the ones that will stall it. But that could possibly happen. So it's good news. It is good news. So as far as stimulus checks, I think it's great for most people to hear that the White House is on board. We know that the House of Representatives are on board. They've already passed their bill, the HEROES Act, and sent it over to the Senate. So we know those two groups are already on board when it comes to stimulus checks. Now where everyone's looking at the Senate, everybody's looking at Mitch McConnell at this point and hoping that he can figure something out and get something done sooner than later. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the good news? Do you think we'll be getting another stimulus check? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And don't forget, we have a group. We have a WhatsApp group. It's a stimulus check, stimulus package WhatsApp group. We share a lot of information on there. I think we're about 100 people in the group right now. So if you guys are interested in joining the group, there'll be a link in the description. You just click on that link. It will take you over to a form. You fill that form out and you'll be sent a link. All you need to do is click on that link and you'll be in the group. All right, guys, I'm going to take off for now, but don't forget, it's your money, people. It's your money. Talk to you later. Bye.